The late afternoon sun filtered softly through the blinds, casting warm stripes across my bedroom. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at my reflection in the mirror, my hands nervously fiddling with the hem of my shirt. My name is Alex, and for as long as I could remember, I've always felt a secret thrill when I imagine myself as someone else, someone softer, prettier, and undeniably feminine. But outside this room, I lived a very different life. Casual, mundane, and painfully ordinary. By day, I worked at a small design firm downtown. My colleagues knew me as the quiet, dependable guy who stayed late to perfect every project. They had no idea that underneath my plain button-down shirts and slacks, I harbored a fascination with skirts, delicate blouses, and makeup palettes that I would never dare use at work. The thrill of transformation was mine alone, or at least it had been until Emma. Emma was unlike anyone I had ever met. Confident, teasing, and fiercely bold, she had an uncanny ability to read people, to see through their facades. We had been dating for 6 months, and every day with her was a roller coaster. She knew about my secret fascination with crossdressing, but she had never pushed me too far until today. I remembered the moment clearly. We had been lounging on her couch, a lazy Saturday afternoon with nothing to do, the air thick with unspoken tension. Emma leaned toward me, her eyes glinting with mischief. "Alex," she said softly, her fingers brushing my arm, "I want to see you act cute." At first, I froze. My heart pounded. The phrase lingered in the air, playful but loaded with intention. "Act cute," I stammered. My mind raced through possibilities, a mixture of excitement and fear coursing through me. Emma smiled, leaning closer, lowering her voice to a whisper. "Yes. Dress up. Pretend to be someone else. Let me see the part of you you've been hiding." It was both a dare and a challenge. My pulse spiked. Here was the chance to explore everything I had kept secret, to fully embrace a side of me that usually stayed tucked away in the quiet corners of my bedroom. But the thrill was entwined with fear. What if I couldn't pull it off? What if I embarrassed myself, or worse, lost Emma's interest? I found myself nodding, almost before I realized it. "Okay," I whispered, my voice barely audible. "I'll do it." Emma clapped her hands softly, the sound both encouraging and intoxicating. "Good. But remember, act cute. Every movement, every expression, it has to be perfect." And just like that, my Saturday afternoon transformed from mundane to extraordinary. I felt a flutter of anticipation as I left the room and began rummaging through her wardrobe, choosing carefully. Her clothes smelled faintly of her perfume, a mixture of roses and something sweetly warm. I selected a soft pink blouse with delicate lace trim, paired with a pleated skirt that fell just above the knees. As I held the outfit in my hands, a thrill ran through me. This was real. This was happening. Back in my room, I began the transformation. The silky fabric of the blouse against my skin, the skirt swishing gently as I walked, and the small heels Emma had insisted I wear, all of it combined into a feeling I couldn't describe. I felt vulnerable, exposed, but also exhilaratingly alive. Then came the makeup. Foundation to smooth my skin, a hint of blush to bring life to my cheeks, mascara to make my eyes look bigger, softer, and more inviting. Each brushstroke seemed to transform not just my face, but my entire sense of self. I paused to look at myself in the mirror. The person staring back was both me and not me. The familiar eyes were now framed by long lashes, the angular jaw softened by the subtle contouring. The stiff, awkward posture had given way to a tentative, shy elegance. I swallowed hard, a mix of nervousness and anticipation making my hands shake. Emma entered quietly, her eyes lighting up at the sight of me. "Wow," she breathed, stepping closer. You're perfect." Her praise sent a rush through me that was impossible to ignore. But beneath the excitement was a subtle thread of anxiety. This was more than just play acting. It felt like stepping into a secret life, one that might pull me in completely. Emma's gaze was intense, inspecting every detail of my transformation, as if she were claiming a secret piece of me that no one else had ever seen. Then she smiled, that teasing, mischievous smile I knew too well. You know, she said, tilting her head, if you act like this all the time, maybe I could start calling you my girlfriend in secret. The words hung in the air, warm and heavy, teasing yet intoxicating. I felt my pulse quicken, my chest tightening with a mix of fear and excitement. Could I really live this way, even in secret? Would I be able to keep my balance between my everyday life and this thrilling, dangerous new persona? Emma didn't give me a chance to answer. She reached out, taking my hand gently. Come on, let's see how you handle it. And with that, I realized I was no longer just playing a game. I had crossed a threshold, stepping into a world of delicate skirts, whispered secrets, and forbidden excitement. My ordinary life was gone for the day. In its place was something far more intoxicating and terrifying. As we moved toward the living room, I caught my reflection in the hallway mirror one last time. The skirt swished with each step. My hair fell softly over my shoulders, and my eyes, seemed to sparkle with a new, daring confidence. I smiled, nervously at first, then more naturally. I couldn't stop. Emma laughed softly, watching me adjust to this new role. See? You're natural. And remember, this is just the beginning. I nodded, the thrill of transformation and the weight of secrecy coiling together inside me. I had no idea what lay ahead, but one thing was certain. My life had just taken a turn I could never have predicted. And deep down, I realized I didn't want to go back. The thrill of standing in front of Emma, dressed in her clothes and wearing her makeup, lingered in my chest like a pulse that refused to fade. My legs felt shaky but alive, my hands tingling from the anticipation. Each step I took toward the living room made the soft swish of the skirt against my thighs feel louder in my ears, as if announcing to the world, or at least to Emma, that I was no longer just Alex. Emma reclined on the couch, her eyes gleaming with amusement. Sit, she commanded softly, patting the space beside her. I hesitated, feeling a surge of self-consciousness. My heart hammered. The skirt felt tight in ways I wasn't used to, and the heels made every step a careful balance act. But Emma's gaze was unwavering, patient, yet demanding. I sank onto the couch, careful to cross my legs just as she had once shown me. She reached out, brushing a stray lock of hair from my face. Her fingers lingered near my cheek, warm and electrifying. Look at you, she whispered. You're adorable. You don't even realize how cute you are. Her praise was intoxicating, but beneath it was a subtle edge of expectation. This was no longer a private experiment, it was a performance. My pulse quickened as I realized that every move, every gesture, was under her scrutiny. My usual self-consciousness was magnified, but now tinged with a strange thrill. You're going to practice being my girlfriend, she said, leaning closer, but in secret. Just for fun and for me. I swallowed hard. The words felt like a rope tightening around my chest. Secret girlfriend? Could I handle that? Could I maintain the duality of my life? Ordinary Alex in public, delicate, teased, and cute Alex in private? I nodded, unsure if my consent was for adventure or for surrender. Emma smiled, satisfied, and handed me a small brush. First, your hair. Fluff it, make it soft. Let me see you care about the details. I took the brush with trembling hands. Running it through my hair, I realized how foreign this felt. Normally, I would rush through my morning routine, but now every motion felt deliberate, every adjustment crucial. My reflection in the hallway mirror showed a different person with each stroke of the brush. Slowly, cautiously, I began to embody the persona Emma wanted. Soft, feminine, approachable, undeniably cute. Perfect, she murmured, inspecting my reflection over my shoulder. Then, she tilted my chin slightly, guiding me to apply a subtle lip gloss she handed me. My hands shook at first, but gradually I grew more confident. With each stroke, each adjustment, I felt a shift inside me. The ordinary walls of my bedroom and the quiet life I had known seemed to fall away, replaced by the thrill of transformation. Emma didn't just direct me. She guided, instructed, teased, and evaluated. "Now," she said, stepping back, "your expressions. Smile a little more, softer. Tilt your head when you speak. Imagine the part you're playing. You're mine in secret." Her words wrapped around me like a spell. I practiced a shy smile, my fingers twisting nervously in my lap. My reflection in the mirror on the far wall caught my eye. Alex, yet transformed, an intimate blend of familiar and foreign. The thrill of being watched, of performing, made my pulse race, but a twinge of fear lingered beneath the excitement. What if I overdid it? What if I embarrassed myself? What if I crossed a line I couldn't come back from? Emma noticed the tension and leaned closer, her warm hand brushing my shoulder. "Relax," she whispered. "The more you embrace it, the better it will feel. You're safe with me." Her words were comforting, yet they were a tether I didn't want to cut. I allowed myself to sink into the experience, letting the excitement mix with vulnerability. Each moment of guidance from Emma pulled me further into a secret world, a life that was both thrilling and terrifying. Hours passed in a whirlwind of small transformations, practicing delicate gestures, learning to sit and stand in skirts, mastering the subtleties of posture, and experimenting with different expressions. Emma encouraged each attempt, correcting softly but firmly, coaxing me into embodying a persona that was undeniably cute, undeniably feminine, and undeniably hers. Then came the mirror exercise. Emma instructed me to stand facing the full-length mirror, examining myself as if seeing me for the first time. "Look at all of you," she said, voice gentle yet commanding. "Every detail matters. Your expression, your posture, your confidence, or your vulnerability." I did as she instructed, my reflection now a complex mixture of identity and performance. I traced the curve of my cheeks, the line of my jaw softened by makeup, and the subtle sway of my skirt. My reflection seemed alive in a new way, almost sentient. I felt like I was meeting someone I knew intimately yet had never truly seen before, a version of myself I had longed to explore but feared. "Now," Emma said, stepping closer, "practice being my girlfriend. Act cute. Say something sweet. Respond as if you're mine." I hesitated. My voice felt foreign when I finally spoke, soft and trembling. I'm happy to be with you." Emma's smile widened, approving.
"Exactly."
"More confidence. Show me you enjoy it, even if it scares you." I tried again, this time letting a gentle smile curve my lips, my hands resting lightly in my lap. The thrill of vulnerability and secrecy coiled tightly inside me. Each word, each movement, reinforced the duality of my life. Ordinary Alex existed outside, predictable and unnoticed. Here, with Emma guiding me, I was a living experiment, a secret persona growing bolder and more confident. The day blurred into a series of small but intense challenges, walking around the apartment in heels without stumbling, practicing shy giggles and soft voices, adjusting skirts and blouses until they felt right. Emma never let me slack, but her teasing encouragement transformed what could have been humiliation into exhilaration. By late afternoon, exhaustion mingled with exhilaration. I slumped on the couch beside Emma, my legs trembling from the heels, my fingers sticky with leftover makeup. "You're amazing," she whispered, brushing a strand of hair from my face. "I think I'm going to start calling you my girlfriend in secret. Do you like that?" My chest tightened, my mind racing. The thrill of transformation, the power of secrecy, and the intimacy of being truly seen, no, truly curated, by Emma left me breathless. I think I do," I murmured, the words barely escaping my lips. Emma laughed softly, pressing a gentle kiss to my forehead.
"Good.
"But remember, it's only beginning. We're just getting started." A shiver of anticipation ran down my spine. The day had already tested my courage, challenged my boundaries, and revealed a hidden side of myself. Yet, despite the fear and vulnerability, I couldn't stop smiling. There was a freedom here, a thrill in secret vulnerability that I had never known. Little did I know, this was only the first layer of a challenge that would push me further, into public interactions, unexpected encounters, and moments where my secret persona might slip, risking exposure. But for now, with Emma guiding me, I felt alive in a way I had never felt before. The buildup of excitement, fear, and curiosity wrapped around me like a cocoon. I was changing both inside and out, and there was no turning back. The next day, the apartment felt different, charged, almost electric. Alex could feel the tension in every corner, a subtle reminder that his secret life as Emma's girlfriend was no longer just a playful experiment. He had spent hours the night before practicing smiles, gestures, and the soft, melodic voice Emma adored. But now, reality demanded more than rehearsed perfection. It demanded improvisation, poise, and courage. Emma leaned against the doorway, arms crossed, a teasing smile tugging at her lips. "Are you ready for today's challenge?" she asked. The glint in her eyes promised mischief, a test that would stretch Alex to his limits. Alex swallowed hard, adjusting the hem of the skirt and the straps of the heels. Every movement felt deliberate, every glance rehearsed. But his stomach churned. The fear of imperfection, of being discovered, lingered like a shadow. I think so," he said, voice soft yet steady. Emma's grin widened. "Good. You're going out with me."
Out. Public.
The word alone made Alex's heart pound. The private intimacy of their apartment was one thing, safe, controlled, but stepping into the world meant exposure. The thought of strangers seeing him, of possibly being recognized, sent a thrill of terror racing through his veins. The first challenge came immediately, leaving the apartment. Emma guided Alex to the elevator, her hand lightly brushing his back, grounding him. "Relax," she whispered. "Walk as if you belong. Confidence is everything." The elevator ride was tense. Every ding and murmur of passing floors amplified Alex's awareness of his high heels and swaying skirt. When the doors opened, the bustling lobby of the building assaulted his senses. People brushed past, oblivious, but Alex felt each glance as a magnifying glass, scrutinizing his every movement. Emma gripped his hand gently, leading him down the street. "Act natural," she said. "I'll handle the rest." Despite her reassurance, Alex felt the thrill of vulnerability. Strangers passed, some casting curious glances, others too absorbed in their lives to notice. But to Alex, every glance was a test, a potential revelation of his secret. The true climax came when they entered a small cafe, a test Emma had deliberately chosen. She instructed him to order a drink, speak to the barista, and interact naturally. Alex's hands trembled slightly as he approached the counter, each syllable of his soft, practiced voice feeling foreign. "Hi," he said. "I'd like a latte, please." The barista smiled warmly, taking his order. Nothing unusual, nothing catastrophic. But Alex felt the weight of every heartbeat, the awareness that a single misstep could unravel the fragile persona he had built. Emma watched from a nearby table, her eyes sharp, approving, yet teasing.
"See?
You're fine," she whispered when he returned. But the words were more encouragement than truth. Alex knew the real challenges had only just begun. Back at the table, Emma leaned close, her lips brushing his ear. "Tomorrow, you're meeting my friends. They have no idea about our little secret."
Can you handle that?
Alex's pulse surged. Meeting new people as her girlfriend, without the safety net of rehearsed moves or private guidance, was terrifying. But alongside the fear was exhilaration. Each step, each challenge, was teaching him more about himself, his courage, and the delicate thrill of living a secret life. The next few days became a whirlwind of tests and exposure. Emma orchestrated encounters that forced Alex to practice confidence in heels, charm in speech, and subtlety in body language. Each challenge built upon the last, pushing him toward an almost intoxicating mix of fear and excitement. The turning point came unexpectedly. A friend of Emma's arrived at the apartment while Alex was alone. The doorbell rang, sharp and sudden. Panic surged through Alex. He froze, heart hammering. He knew Emma had not warned him about visitors. He scrambled, trying to adjust the skirt, fix his hair, and compose his expression. The The door opened, revealing Emma's friend, who smiled brightly. "Hey, I thought I'd drop by. Emma's expecting me." Alex forced a smile, his hands trembling slightly. "Hi. I'm, Alex. The words stumbled out, clumsy under the pressure. His mind raced, searching for the right persona to maintain, the right expression to hold. The friend stepped inside, chatting animatedly, oblivious to Alex's inner turmoil. Every gesture, every tilt of his head, every forced laugh felt like a balancing act. One misstep could expose the entire secret. Emma returned mid-conversation, a mischievous grin spreading across her face. "Meet my secret girlfriend," she announced casually, as if introducing a familiar reality. Time seemed to freeze. Alex's pulse thundered in his ears. He was living the ultimate test, exposed yet protected, vulnerable yet adored. Every glance, every word, every interaction pushed him further into the persona Emma had crafted. By the end of the visit, Alex had survived, maybe even thrived. The friend departed, oblivious to the tension and stakes that had governed every movement. Alex slumped onto the couch, legs aching, cheeks flushed. Emma sat beside him, fingers threading through his hair. "You did amazing," she whispered. "I think it's time you start enjoying this, being mine in secret." Alex's heart fluttered. Exhaustion, exhilaration, and a strange, overwhelming sense of self-awareness crashed into him. He was caught between two lives, each demanding his attention, each shaping him in unexpected ways. But just as he began to relax, the doorbell rang again. Unexpected, insistent. A new challenge, another test. Alex's pulse surged. The thrill, the fear, the excitement. They were all far from over. And deep inside, he realized he was ready to embrace whatever came next, even if it terrified him. The apartment was quiet again, almost unnaturally so. Alex sat on the edge of the couch, still trembling slightly from the adrenaline of surviving another challenge. The lingering echoes of Emma's laughter, the friend's oblivious chatter, and the whispered reassurances swirled in his mind, leaving him both exhausted and exhilarated. He looked down at himself, adjusting the skirt and brushing a stray lock of hair behind his ear. The mirror across the room reflected a version of himself that was unrecognizable, yet undeniably him. The reflection held a soft, mischievous smile that Alex had never dared to show before. A part of him wondered if he could ever return to the life he had before Emma's challenges began. Emma appeared from the kitchen, holding 2 mugs of hot chocolate. "You did so well today," she said softly, placing one mug beside him. Her eyes glimmered with pride and something deeper, something teasing. "I think you're finally getting the hang of being my girlfriend in secret." Alex swallowed hard, sipping the warm drink and feeling it settle into his nerves. I didn't think I could do it," he admitted, voice barely above a whisper. "But with you, I don't know, but felt right." Emma's smile widened. "That's because it is right," she said, leaning closer. "You're more than just my secret. You're me in a way. And I love that you trust me enough to let me guide you." The moment was intimate, but before Alex could respond, the sharp ring of the doorbell shattered the fragile calm. Both of them froze. Emma's expression flickered with surprise and then mischief. "Who could that be?" she asked aloud, though neither of them moved. Alex's heart pounded violently in his chest. Every scenario ran through his mind. Was it a neighbor? A friend of Emma's? Or worse, someone who could discover his secret? Emma shrugged, but didn't move to the door. "Well, let's find out," she said, her tone teasing but laced with danger. She gestured toward Alex. "You open it." Alex hesitated. His hands trembled as he rose, skirt swaying with each uncertain step. The heels felt heavier than ever. His mind screamed, warning him that any misstep could expose him. Yet there was also a strange thrill, a pulse of excitement at the unknown, at living on the edge. He reached the door, fingers brushing the handle. A deep breath, a pause, and then, from the other side, came a voice. "Hey, I heard someone was dressing up." Alex froze. Recognition shot through him like lightning. The voice belonged to someone from his past, someone who knew him, someone who could unravel everything. He looked back at Emma, panic written across his face. Her grin had shifted slightly, becoming sharper, more knowing. "Well," she said softly, "looks like we have a new challenge." The door rattled lightly as the visitor's hand pressed against it. Alex's mind raced. Every step, every decision from here on out could change his life forever. A cold shiver ran down his spine. He glanced at the mirror again and saw himself, half Alex, half the secret persona Emma had crafted, staring back. He felt the weight of the double life he was leading, teetering on the brink of discovery. Emma leaned close, her whisper brushing against his ear. "Ready to see how far you'll go?" Alex nodded, heart pounding in his chest, a mixture of fear and exhilaration surging through him. The door creaked open just a fraction, and the story paused at the edge of chaos, leaving the world outside waiting and leaving viewers on a knife's edge of suspense.